against Australia since the Tri-Nations triumph of 2005. Mind you, that was the 2008 World Cup final. They're trailing here at half-time, 18 points to 10. It could have been a lot worse because Australia hit them for those 3 quick tries, but the Kiwis, they have hit back. And the match is up for the winning in the second half. New Zealand are out on the field. They're waiting for the Kangaroos to emerge. Here they come. And so let's return to commentary. Sean is back in there with Phil, Steve-O and Bill.
Paul Gallen, the last out, but always the first there virtually for an impressive Australian side in the first half. But the Kiwis still with hope here. Of course, the dress rehearsal, if you like, for what's to come at the Suncorp in Brisbane next weekend, and both camps playing down the significance of this in the week in the build-up to this. It's a different game, but this is an Australian side minus some of their big name players. Remember, no Lockyer, Slater, Lewis, Miles, Tonga out there. The Kiwis can't get over this side. And what prospect against Tim Sheen's full-strength team? What's prospect those players getting back in the side? What a position for a coach to be in. And the players just starting on where they left off at the end of that first half. Which ended with that set 2. Isaac Luke and David Shillington going at it, and Shillington in the tackle there.
Up now!
Pretty important now that Australia try to keep New Zealand down in their own quarter. It was pretty effective, the first and second marker system by the Green and Golds in that first stanza.
Play on, still 3.
Play on, 3 tackles gone, says referee Silverwood. Lance Hahaya takes the tackle just inside his own half.
Go, 4. Outside.
Marshall thumps the kick in, it ricochets off the knees of Brett Morris, and then he gets a follow-up tackle.
Stand up! Hold!
Felt that.
Go!
It was Pritchard who landed on top of him, and as play continues, Morris is just walking away very slowly from the scene of that last tackle. But no time to reflect, it's in the hands of Lottie Takiri.
Hold!
Back in the Kangaroos camp after 67 appearances for the Wallabies. Now with Greg Bird.
4!
Back in the Kangaroos camp to make his 3rd appearance for them after a time in the wilderness.
Last one.
That's the 5th tackle.
On the 10. Wait. Go. Okay. Good.
Carney hoists that one. It is a good kick.
Caught.
Perrott underneath it and collects it very convincingly.
He had to as well. He was put under a lot of pressure by Paul Gallen.
He's been everywhere for the Australians so far, Paul Gallen.
Both in attack and defence. He really works overtime, you're right, Bill. But look how they're getting into them in numbers.
3! Up now! Move!
It's a great take, though. Sam Perrott. Looked at one point there, he was going to do a rugby union mark. Wouldn't have helped him.
Stand! Go!
Now it's
Markers!
Kiwis struggling to make progress upfield. Good strong run from Pritchard. Keeps it alive. Play on, says the referee, and Cameron Smith has it.
Well, it was worth a try, just ricocheted away. Good job that Smith was lurking around.
Greg Bird.
2! Move! Go!
Plays the ball. Takiri coming off his wing to look for some action. Straight up the middle of the field.
Go!
Cameron Smith serves it up to Shillington, and they'll get the penalty. Offside. Markers not square, says the referee.
And that would come about mainly due to the fact that they were playing the ball so quickly, and that's a quick tap. Good run by Matthew Scott. Will they switch to the blind side over on that far side? No, they're coming this way.
No kicking at goal for this Australian side, and here is Paul Gallen. 2 tackles gone, and they're hammering on the door again of the Kangaroos. Tate finds Carney. Carney brings Shillington back into the action, but there's a reception committee for the big number 10. Cameron Smith, time to weigh up the options. Finds Dean Young, another of the debutants. It's with Boyd now. could be in the corner with Lawrence, and Lawrence is just short.
Move! On the line!
4 tackles gone.
Go!
To Keary. Cooper Cronk under pressure, but they're managing to keep this ball alive. Here's Darius Boyd. Boyd across the field. Tate steps away from trouble. Brent Tate gets a great pass away to Cameron Smith. Smith, eventually it comes to an end.
And again we see Sam Perrott, the winger, come out of his line.
Go!
It allowed Tate to go forward. They're under real pressure. The kick to the in-goal area, it's too strong. Is it? No!
It's a great kick, and it's a great chase as well. They'll get a goal line dropout. And let's go down to the sidelines and hear from Brian Carney.
Yeah, Bill, firstly from Tin Sheens, he's asked for patience from his players. He said he felt at times they were rushing it a bit too much. If they have patience, their time will come. Stephen Kearney's message to his player was very, very simple: not good enough. He's demanding that they play this whole second half like they finished that first half.
Let's go!
Well, at the moment, they don't want to get their game going again. The referee, Richard Silverwood, saying let's go as Benji Marshall takes his time about this goal line dropout.
When you think about the first half, neither side played an even pace, did they? Australia started fast, they were strong and powerful, but tired somewhat. New Zealand, the slow starters. I suppose both here now. It's Australia again who are managing to begin this second 40, much the more dominant team.
I wonder, Phil, whether Australia started so well in the first half because they had a lot of fresh players. There's players, of course, playing for Australia tonight that haven't played for a couple of months. Now, I wonder if that will reflect later in the game, where there could be a lot of tired guys out there as well.
The game might be in the bag before then, because it's with Morris. Great ball back in field. What a pass to Darius Boyd. The referee will want to have a look at that and see where on the field Brett Morris was when he made that pass. But the touch judge was right on the spot.
Checking the touchline, mate.
They're going to check whether Brett Morris clipped the whitewash before he put that pass infield. A magnificent ball it was as well to Darius Boyd. Some speculation that it might have been forward.
No grand final repeats.
But they can't check that.
No. Does he touch it? No, that's fine. The left leg, no, didn't touch it. The boot is raised. This will be given. He's offloaded before the leg goes over the whitewash. And Darius Boyd, and the build-up to this try was nothing short of sensational.
Putting the arm back.
Offloading at the right moment. The technique is superb by Brett Morris. Sam Perrott tried his damnedest, but it was oh so late. Just checking, just making sure. That's fine. So is that. And watch the heel of the boot go up, and the ball is offloaded before the right leg goes into touch. So therefore this should be TRY, and the Australians have bounced back. Nothing wrong with the touchdown. Sensational play by Australia.
The try is awarded. Darius Boyd gets his second try in Australian colours. The man who many felt was unlucky to miss out on selection at the start of this Four Nations series.
Watch this build-up here. Look how the dummy runner comes through. Shillington did that. Then Carney, and then pushed it out wide. Darius Boyd fed the winger, and Morris says thank you, take it back on the inside. They don't come much better than this. Brilliant, to say the least. Boy, exhilarating.
Had a great series with the Dragons this season, culminating in a grand final win where he got the Clive Churchill medal. And that was magnificent from Brett Morris.
Might be a bit pedantic here, Bill, but I thought that try might have been scored a bit closer to the post. So I mean, maybe my eyesight's going, but this kick has been lined up on the 10-metre line in from the sideline, and I'm pretty sure Darius Boyd carried that ball in a fair way. But as I said, I might be clutching at straws, but
it's a massively important kick, though, isn't it, now?
Cameron Smith has kicked 3 from 3 from wide out. It's the way he's been kicking tonight.
To go from 12 to 14 points advantage is significant.
He's pushed it wide of the posts. 22 points to 10. Australia lead. Darius Boyd, the try scorer in the second half.
Psychologically, it's a huge boost for Australia. New Zealand realise they've got to score 3 times now. And they're going to have to pick up the game, because the build-up to it was outstanding. Tim Sheens would be so happy with that.
But just as in the first half, the start of the first half, they haven't been able to get their hands on the ball, the Kiwis.
Interesting to see how the Australians are playing the attacking game as well. Normally when you've got Darren Lockyer out there and Slater, they stand very, very deep. Tim Sheens has changed their attacking style. They're doing it flat running.
Clear.
Lancer higher underneath that kick, straight into his arms virtually. But the chase is good, even if the kick wasn't one of the best. And the long-serving fullback can't make much progress.
Go.
Here's Sam Perrett. Manu Vatuvei's injury, broken arm, early on in the series, giving Perrett the chance to get back into the side.
Move, Dave. Hold the 10. Go.
Jason Nightingale. Now Sean Kenny-Dowell.
4.
Had a great season for the Roosters.
Hold. Go.
Pritchard. That's the 5th tackle.
Hold. 5. Wait.
And they're on the 40-metre line inside the Australian half, and the ball with Marshall. They're running it. Blair, but Blair is going to get all wrapped up, and that came to nothing.
Hand it over.
Well, that's poor play by the Kiwis. First real opportunity to get deep into the Australian territory, and what do? They go for the power play when a kick should have been positioned into the corner.
Move, Frank. Marcus. Go.
Stephen Kearney will be very disappointed with that. Oh, it's a shocker pass.
And it bounces kindly for Paul Gallen.
Stand up. Go. 2.
Adam Blair.
Surrender.
Here's Shillington now.
Stand up. 3.
Just inside his own half as he plays that ball. It's with Matt Scott. Had a great Origin series in the Queensland colours, Matt Scott. And now on the charge goes Greg Bird, and Bird, but the pass was snapped up, and he's lost the ball, Marshall, and it's back in Australian hands. It's back in the hands of Dean Young.
Wait. Go. 0.
They thought they got away with it, the Kiwis, but they immediately lost possession again, and Australia have it back for another set of 6.
And watch for this flat attack.
Carney. Here's Darius Boyd again, looking for another try.
Move, Junior. Hold. Go.
Tate. Carney. Shillington
3.
now.
Move, Frank. Hold. Go.
Another Australia try, and it really would be a mountain to climb for the Kiwis, but they'll get the ball back here. Lancer higher, managing to reach it before anybody else.
Go.
And now they're going to have their job,
2.
their work cut out to try and get upfield.
Hold. Go.
Suffocating defence from the Australians.
3. Move. Go. No, there, Todd.
Sean Kenny-Dowell, they'll get just what they needed, the penalty.
Good work by the big centre. Could see they were a touch then, and they've gone for a quick tap.
And they haven't bothered to go for touch. Benji Marshall has taken it all on his own, and look where he is now. That caught the Kangaroos hopping, so to speak. Across the field, charging onto the ball comes Pritchard, but that was good defence.
Brilliant tackle by Brent Tate. Right round the ankles. Nowhere for the big fella to go, Pritchard.
It's with Frank Paul Nu'uausala. Frank Paul, the wrecking ball. And the crowd sensing this is a great opportunity for their side. Isaac Luke, Benji Marshall again. Marshall, though, is picked out and flung to the ground by Greg Bird. 4 tackles gone. They've lost ground. They've lost some momentum. Now it's with Lancer higher and higher into the arms of Matt Scott. That's the 5th tackle.
Hold. Go.
Isaac Luke feigns cross-field kick, but that's easy for Brett Morris, is it? Well, it's come up for them. That'll be the turnover, a Kiwi knock on there.
Well, it shows you the extent and the strength of this Australian defence, that the Kiwis were forcing to put in the kick through. This was a quick tap by Benji Marshall. Don't often catch the Australians napping, but he did on that occasion.
When you're behind, you need your captain, or you need a leading player to come up with an inspirational play. Benji Marshall's tried it. It's lifted the crowd somewhat, but the Kangaroo resilience was good. They got back in numbers, they held the line, and they're rolling forward here now without any errors inside their own half of the field.
Tate tackled just inside his own half by Mannering. Big hit on Tom Leroy-Lars, but he just shrugs aside the challenge and gets the pass away, and it's now with Tate. He plays the ball. Good run from Robbie Farah. On the last now. Cooper Cronk puts the kick in. It's a good one. The ball's going to come up for the Kiwis, and they were offside, says the referee.
Yep, he allowed the advantage. Nightingale don't like it, and a huge crowd here at Eden Park.
He's offside, yeah.
Show their dismay. Well, it was quite obvious that the man who touched the ball was well and truly in front. Well, the Aussies will just perhaps...
Did not come off Chris Lawrence, and then unintentionally, I suppose, perhaps off the back of Sean Kenny-Dowell.
Kiwis querying that, but it is the penalty that Australia run back at him now, with Tom Leroy-Lars winning his third cap, having broken into the side at the start of this Four Nations series. Sam Thaiday now.
Move on the line. Go.
Carney gets the pass away to Darius Boyd, now to Kiri, coming back in field, playing ducks and drakes with the Kiwi defenders.
Move. Hold. Go.
Australia lead 22-10, looking to extend that, maybe to put themselves out of reach. Sam Thaiday gets the ball and the Kiwis defence at the same time, and he felt it.
Boy, that was a big hit by the halfback Nathan Feen. Thaiday doesn't like it. Get out of the way, he said. Nothing wrong with the tackle.
Tackle for. Wait.
Sam Thaiday is okay to continue.
On the line, mate. On the line.
Might hear more about that, or see more about that, perhaps.
It was a bruiser.
Well, this could be bruising for the Kiwis now, but that's good defence to close Greg Bird down.
Last. Musica. Hold.
That's the fifth tackle.
Go.
A bit of sledging going on out there, surprisingly. Meanwhile, Chris Lawrence is onside. Referee checks with his officials. The try is awarded, and Chris Lawrence on his debut gets the try that maybe puts Australia beyond reach now. The West Tigers player playing for his coach Tim Sheens had a great season for the club. Now breaking into the Australian side and adding his name to the score sheet.
Beautiful play by Robbie Farah, and they got caught out there. Jason Nightingale was too slow to react. Chris Lawrence wasn't. Get out of the way. He scores the try. Beautiful little dink through. He knew exactly what Robbie Farah was going to do on that short blind side. And they have come out in the second half, and they've blitzed the Kiwis yet again.
Is it possible to defend that play, Sean, when it's done and executed as well as that?
It's very, very difficult, Phil, because the first thing you have to assume is that Robbie Farah is going to run that play. He's going to run the ball, he's going to take someone on, or he's going to shift the ball. So defensively, you have to come forward. The only thing you might question is whether the fullback who sits behind the ruck could have been slightly better positioned, but I was just going to make the point about two hookers, two quality hookers. You bring Cameron Smith off, you bring Robbie Farah on, and what a quality player. Absolute quality.
Todd Carney has the goal-kicking duties now. Chris Lawrence has been certainly earmarked for great things in the game since he made his debut as a 17-year-old in the Brisbane Broncos side.
Come back on.
Carney on target, and Australia lead by 28 points to 10. There is Chris Lawrence, an interesting character. Lawrence, he's studying for a degree in commerce, and he also runs PE programs in schools. And now he's playing for Australia, making his debut.
And the most amazing thing about this Australian side, Bill, is that a lot of people are saying that it's one of the weakest Kangaroo sides that they've seen for quite some time. I haven't seen that tonight.
Some weak defending from New Zealand there, allowing Tom Leroy Lars to go striding up the field from the restart.
3, move Frank, go!
And the Kiwis can't get their hands on the ball.
It's amazing that Tim Sheens made so many changes. Rested Slater and Lockyer, and look at them just ripping this Kiwi side apart.
They could go to town now in the last quarter of this game, Australia.
Okay.
The high kick will put Perrett under pressure. Tate is there, they're all challenging for it. Still the last, the ball's come back off an Australian hand as Morris puts the kick in. Hahaya fields it and does ever so well there to get out of trouble.
Nice jink. Looks like there's a problem for the loose forward, Paul Gallen. He's down, he's receiving treatment. Aussie's down to 12 men at the moment. Referee Richard Silverwood.
Well, it was when the bomb went up and Perrett came forward. I think Gallen's underneath it. He gets hit by, I presume, Sam Perrett. There may have been other players involved here. Going for the ball. Yes, it is.
Yeah, looks like the elbow of Sam Perrett. And I'll tell you something, it takes something real hard and tough to put this guy down. He's an amazing athlete.
Gallen getting treatment, the thumbs up comes from the physio. Well, Tim Sheens has a 100% record in charge of this Kangaroos side. Well, there was that draw in the Four Nations last year, 20 points apiece at the Stupa. Fantastic game that was. But he's yet to taste defeat as coach of this Kangaroos side. It doesn't look as though that's going to come tonight, not unless the Kiwis can turn this around. And look at that defence from Australia. And Mannering heading for touch, back slaps all round, and Mannering saying, well, what was I supposed to do? And it all happened in front of Brian Carney, and I think you're impressed by that, Brian.
Yeah, they look really up for it. There's back slapping, and they do look pumped up for it. I'm just looking at the bench there. We got Cameron Smith, Matthew Scott, Petro Civoniceva, and David Shillington. Maybe Sean McRae might be able to give you a bit of an indication into what Tim Sheens might be thinking. Is it now that he starts looking forward to next week? Maybe leave Robbie Farah on for the rest of this game, leave Petro Civoniceva off, rest his legs, and leave one of the other props off and don't bring him on, assuming that they get no injuries, because they've got a very experienced bench group of players sitting on the bench right now.
Well, it's a interesting position for a coach to be in. He's rested all these star players, and look at this, another try for Morris. And Morris gets his second of the night, and this one will be under the sticks to make it an easy conversion attempt for Todd Carney. And they are going to town here. They are putting down a marker for the Four Nations final to come in Brisbane. And this, a side missing, as we've said already, a host of top choice selections. They're not missing them.
It's good play as well. See how they peel away, and Tate just sucks in yet again. Tate takes out Perrett. Was there interference there? But as far as Richard Silver was concerned, that's fine. Good move here, but it appears to me that Tate certainly makes contact with Sam Perrett. But the Australians, they've come down this left-hand side defence. They've given Sam Perrett plenty to think about tonight. And that was an easy try. And this should be an easy extra 2 points.
It is Carney who'll take the kick. Keeping his concentration as a Mexican wave goes round Eden Park. And Australia lead by 34 points to 10 now.
When Australia gained possession by taking the Kiwis over the sideline, every single player came to celebrate it. Brian Carney made reference. Lottie Takiri even came from the left wing because they realised the significance of putting that much effort into the defence and the reward they'll get from gaining the possession at that part of the field.
So, looks as though New Zealand's drought of victories against Australia on home soil is going to continue. Their last victory over the Aussies in New Zealand was back in 2003 when they beat them 30 points to 16 here in Auckland. They had such high hopes that they were going to be able to do something against them tonight, but they've never been within sight, really. There have been odd moments when they thought, right, we're back in the game, but every time they thought they were up off the canvas, bang, down they go again.
Well, there was a period in the first half, wasn't there, Bill, about 20-minute mark where you just felt that New Zealand were back in the game. They got some possession, they built some pressure, they were quick out of dummy half. But really, only for a 10-minute spell maybe, apart from that, it's been all Australia, and they've been very smart the way they've played tonight. They've been very clinical, technically correct. Their passing game's been superb, kicking game has been accurate, and their running game, they've run with plenty of power. And they've just about got everything right here tonight. You wonder whether they could improve next week. I'm sure they're going to have to. I'm sure they will. And to answer Brian Carney's question from before, there will be a different side in the final. I've got no doubt about that.
Well, it's a task for Stephen Kearney then ahead of that Four Nations final to regroup and get his side lifted again for the final. Because here come Australia looking for more points. Merciless they are. They really do want to assert their authority here tonight. Rubber kick comes through. Oh, there could be more points. It's going to be the goal line dropout. Cooper Cronk was very close.
It's all about applying the pressure, and Australia have done that superbly tonight. We wondered whether Todd Carney could just link in and drop into the position with Cooper Cronk. He's done that perfectly. And Tim Sheens has got a problem that every coach would love to have. A squad of players. He misses it. Nathan Feen. And the crowd, well, they're showing a lot of problems. They're throwing everything up in the air and onto the field of play, I feel.
It's not been the night that New Zealand were hoping for. They were looking forward to a night of celebration here at Eden Park. Big crowd, over 40,000. They haven't got the performance they wanted from the Kiwi side.
No, they've been battered in all departments. And it's on again. Frustration obviously running through the veins of the Kiwis now. Certainly frustration from the crowd because there are all sorts being thrown around this stadium. People are protecting themselves.
Well, it's push and shove, isn't it? Frustration.
It is frustration from New Zealand.
The dominance with the ball and with the field position just mean that there's just more points going to come here. The Kiwis without this possession will fatigue rapidly. There's a ruthless streak here now amongst the Kangaroos that just want to inflict the pain.
And they know that they've got the ability to just apply that pressure time and time again. The kicking from Cronk, Carney, and of course Robbie Farah that produced that try for Morris.
The crowd showing their verdict on this New Zealand performance, perhaps. Friday has to pick that ball up.
Knock on. Golden opportunity thrown away, just a little bit excited, but you can see by the expressions on the Australian players' faces, they know that they have done a fine job tonight. It has been a tremendous team effort. The Kiwis have been battered in every department. And
they haven't finished yet. Still nearly 15 minutes to go, over 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, Bill, I just wondered after last week's victory against Papua New Guinea, I just didn't think that did them any favours at all, the New Zealand team. For me, it was a game that scored far too many points. They didn't really have to defend, and it was the Australians had a tough game against the England team, and I think we're seeing the benefit of that tonight.
You though, Sean, with your experience in coaching, will have seen many occasions where sides, after losing by 30, 40, 50 points, bounce back the week after and just look like a completely different team.
They sure do, and you learn a lot. You learn a lot from defeat, and you certainly learn a lot knowing you're going to play the same team the next week. So, you know, New Zealand, it's not finished yet in terms of, you know, there's 17, 16 minutes to play. New Zealand can actually finish this game on a high. They can finish with some positives. But certainly the game has gone in terms of the scoreline.
But the ball has come up for them, come up for Marshall. Oh, lovely ball from Marshall. They are in the corner. Nightingale, the try scorer. And that's got the crowd's mind back on the action on the field. And they've responded. And a bit of Marshall magic finished off by that man, Jason Nightingale. Has given something for these Kiwi supporters to cheer, but too late.
They went for the option, the high kick, and it was too much for the fullback. It bounces away, and watch the flick here. Superb stuff. The Kiwis have not thrown the towel in, but this is extraordinary. Absolutely bamboozled Takiri. And Nightingale finishes off with a flourish.
Can Marshall finish off? No, he's missed with the conversion attempt. 14 points to 34, the scoreline at Eden Park. And Jason Nightingale, who was a try scorer in the massacre against PNG, 76 points to 12, they won that one. Well, this has been a very different story for Stephen Kearney's side.
Well, one of the very few errors that Australia come up with tonight. But it just shows you the significance that this man, Benji Marshall, has to the Kiwi side. They've kept him quiet for most of the game, but that was superb, wasn't it? The flick out to Nightingale.
Mannering underneath the restarts. Mainstay of this side, Mannering winning his 23rd cap this evening.
Mushan, markers, hold, go.
Here goes Sikamano, Junior Sao.
3, move.
Pahaya.
4
move. Tackles gone.
10. Get square. Diving forward, 4.
Looking for the penalty, nothing coming. Luluai back on the field.
And he's injected a little bit more pace as well as Luluai. A lot quicker play of the ball. Here comes the high bomb again. Boyd's under it, takes it this time, but he's in the in-goal area. It'll be the dropout underneath the sticks.
Already on the line.
Tremendous high kick from Benji Marshall.
We're going to get a chance here now, Bill, to see how dangerous the Kiwis are with some good ball. You know, attacking their opponent's try line here. They've had limited opportunity in the match, particularly in the second half. 20 points behind. Just over 12, 13 minutes left in the game.
7th goal line dropout of the game, which suggests that some of the kicking has been pretty good to force that number of goal line dropouts.
I would say the reason why these two teams will play in the final, and sadly England and Papua New Guinea won't. That accuracy there, and the chase too from Sean Kenny-Dowell to time his run to perfection, then drag Darius Boyd in the in-goal area.
Well, New Zealand getting their hands on the ball for a while here now and trying to do something positive with it, and causing 1 or 2 problems for the Australian defence is Sikamanu. Now it's with Lance Ahaya, but he puts the brakes on and changes direction. Finds Marshall now. Marshall, little step and goes for it. But the door slams in his face, and it's that man Gallen there who makes the tackle. Marshall is okay. Gallen concerned. The Cronulla man and the West Tigers man just a concern about each other. Oh, that was high
that's
on
gotta be a
Junior
penalty.
Sao. Referee didn't say anything untoward about it, or is allowing play to continue, and it does with Eastwood. Pahaya. Marshall again will try and tease this Australian defence out of position, but loses his footing. That's the 5th tackle.
Hold, go.
Luluai, Fien stabs a grubber kick in, but not the best, and Gallen is there. Good chase, but he manages to stay in the field of play.
Hold, go.
Did well under a lot of pressure there from Lance Ohaya.
2, move, Marcus Square.
Well, he's perked the crowd up, and he's certainly perked the Kiwis.
Hold, go.
Now then, there's time left for New Zealand just to show Australia that it's not going to be a cakewalk next week in Brisbane.
Go.
I think the key factor, Bill, has been the reintroduction of Thomas Luluai at the dummy half position, a lot quicker in the play of the ball, scooting downfield, getting good positional.
Pass. Up. Wait.
That's the 5th tackle.
Go.
Just on their own 30-metre line.
Okay, it's good.
And Cooper Cronk thumps that one downfield.
Wait.
Comes off the knees of Perrett.
1, up 10. Hold. Go.
Here is Nightingale.
2, move, Robbie. Marcus.
Just inside their own half. Now Sean Kenny-Dowell hasn't really threatened. They know all about
Stand up.
Sean Kenny-Dowell.
3, go.
A big season for the Roosters. Tommy Luluai had a big season for the Wigan
Marcus
Warriors,
tighter. Push up.
culminating in that grand final win. Marshall once more. Short pass.
Last. Move.
Junior Sao is tackle, that's the 5th. Stray ball, really. Fortunately, it comes to Lance Ohaya in the end. Not the best kick from him either. And Takiri had time underneath that ball.
1, move, and enough.
Did well there. Sika Manu was applying the pressure.
Watch it on the arm.
Into the last 10 minutes then.
2,
This sort of pressure will do Australia no harm at all. I think that they need to be challenged, they need to be tested. I think Tim Sheens would be delighted that they're having to defend for the last 5 minutes or so, and maybe if they could even do it for the last 10 minutes. No doubt he'd like some more points on the board, but I think he really would want his charges to be tested, particularly the players that haven't played a lot of rugby league.
Well, he'd be happy with the chase. That was really good, though. They've given the opportunity. They're going to cut him down, Nightingale. Ruthless, aren't they?
Go.
Brent Tate, he is a durable player, Brent Tate. He took a real hammering from the PNG side.
Go.
Was taken off in actual fact, he was so battered and bruised, but he comes back for more.
3, move. Go.
Here goes Marshall. Matulino. 4 tackles gone, up to the 30-metre line.
Tremendous power there, Matalino. They've got the penalty.
Down, you come up on the ball.
This will be the quick tap, or will they put it into the corner?
You've lost the rook. Okay.
Luluai says, let's go into the corner now. Can Marshall produce some magic?
Eastwood.
Marcus. Hold. Go.
Luluai. Now Adam Blair.
2, on the line. Oh no.
Blair struggling to his feet. It's with Marshall now. Marshall, little dummy, looking for the try. And will he get it? Has he got it?
He's lost it.
He's lost the ball. He was desperate there, Benji Marshall, to mark the night with his name among the scorers. His teammates congratulate him, but it might not be as clear-cut as that.
I think you're right, Bill. I think he's lost possession here, but what about the step?
If the ball's been knocked out of his arm, though, is that why perhaps the referee was patient and waited?
There's the step, and then he lunges. Is it whipped out? Is it interfered with by Matthew Scott? Or has it been knocked out by Brent Tate? This is a big one.
Play on.
Well, I actually think that the arm's been knocked.
Pahaya gets the touch.
Okay, mate.
Well, I'm not sure if the ball doesn't go forward. What do you think?
20 metre.
It's a big one at a crucial time in the game. No try, it's been given.
Metre. 20.
Similar pattern in this game though. Australia too good in the first 10 to 15 minutes of both halves. And I would have thought for Stephen Kearney and the Kiwi camp this week, it's about addressing the start to both halves. And somehow being able to match or even counter-attack what the Kangaroos do. How well and how quickly they begin the periods, as they've shown as the games went on. And Marshall goes close. Great desire for defence for the Kangaroos to prevent a try.
Echoes of 1988 here at Eden Park, when that World Cup final and the Kiwis were favourites and great things expected of them. Massive crowd came here, 47,000. The ticket touts were doing a roaring trade, and Dean Bell's side didn't live up to expectations. Wally Lewis engineered an Australian victory despite suffering a broken arm early on. By the time he left the field, the game was virtually in the bag, and they went on to win 25 points to 12. And it's the similar sort of feeling here now. You feel a sense of deflation on the part of the Kiwis. Eastwood first to that ball, play on, says the referee. Thaiday eventually gets his man.
Hold! Go, 0!
Loses the boot in the process. But they get back in numbers yet again. Todd Carney making sure there's no chance of an offload. Boy, the work from the first and second markers in the green and gold tonight has been outstanding too. Look at that. Matt Scott, come. No, he's let him go.
3!
Luluai.
Get square, Pedro!
Well, interesting dilemma for the coaches then, because Tim Sheens has got these players he rested for tonight, waiting to come back.
There'll be a knock-on.
Are they going to walk back into the side? Darren Lockyer, first miss for 11 tests tonight.
Surely you can't drop Darren Lockyer and Billy Slater.
Well, there's two certainties. They're two certainties to play next week. It's just a question of whether... Well, it's a question whether he'll put Willie Tonga back in. It's a question whether he might make a positional change. Perhaps Darius Boyd might end up on the wing for one player. It's difficult to say.
I've got a question. Is Sam Thaiday going to play the rest of this game with just one boot on? See him there, one sock, one boot. Second row, number 12 for Australia. You'd have thought you needed some grip, wouldn't you, on the floor? Not for him. It's coming off maybe now.
1! Move, 7!
Going into the pits for a change. Somebody's got his boot on the sidelines.
2! Adam, move!
In fact, Cameron Smith has gone back out there just to see things home for his side. Smith captaining the Kangaroos tonight and doing a good job, as has that man, Sam Thaiday.
Go, 3!
Had a big game against England. That ball's been knocked forward.
He's got the arm,
Should be head and feed to the Kiwis. And it is. Can they finish with a flourish? Psychologically, they've got to do that.
Steve-O, if Robbie Farah has one weakness in his game, we've seen that twice tonight, what's happened, where he comes out of dummy half and he wants to slow play down, but if you're chasing from marker, you can actually get some pressure on him and you can force him to lose the ball, and that's happened twice tonight. But I've got to say, he's a very, very skillful player, very smart player, but he probably needs to just work on that a little bit more.
Okay, time back on, ball in. Out!
And what does Stephen Kearney do in the week ahead?
Move!
Not as though he can ring many changes. He showed his hand tonight.
Go!
It's a repair job for the New Zealand coach.
Hold! Hold!
And if your confidence isn't shattered though, Bill, it's easier for the Kiwis to get up and prove that they're better than what they've been here tonight. Perhaps a touch embarrassed by their own performance. He has that advantage behind them.
I think embarrassment probably would be the word, Phil, because big crowd, Eden Park, all these associations, and they just haven't done themselves justice.
4!
Well, they have at certain periods throughout this game, but as we all know, at this level, you've got to keep going for the full 80. You can't just go to sleep.
Here goes Benji Marshall again, another lovely pass and another try, and Sean Kenny-Dowell gets a try to lift Kiwi spirits and maybe give us the answer. Sean Kenny-Dowell, an outstanding season for the Roosters. 21 tries in 28 appearances for them. SKD the man.
And again, the magic of this man, Benji Marshall. Look at the flick pass back on the inside. The big centre, Kenny Dowell, goes over. It's that psychological lift that they needed, just to put a marker down against the green and gold and say we've got a chance next week. We can improve.
Sean Kenny Dowell, who was New Zealand's Player of the Year, as announced a couple of weeks ago. And Benji Marshall, the architect of another Kiwi try. And this time he's on target and giving this scoreline a bit more respectability from a New Zealand perspective. New Zealand 20, Australia 34 now.
The quality again that we've witnessed in the latter part of this game from Benji Marshall. Two outstanding flick passes. Magnificent.
Sean Kenny Dowell thanks Brian Smith for the way his career has really been turned around. A winger who never really made his mark in that position, and certainly has made his mark in the centre positions to the extent that he's the International Centre of the Year as named this week, ahead of some illustrious company.
Robbie.
So New Zealand have shown that if Benji Marshall is given room to roam, he has what it takes to unlock this Australia defence.
You're right, Bill, and it was a psychological blow against the Australians. Okay, they will finish up winning this match, but the Kiwis have not thrown the towel in when it looked as though they would. And the skill factor from Benji Marshall, while ever he is in around on the field of play, they've got the opportunity, and they know that they've been snuffed out so many times. Great pass.
Mannering is going to have to take the tackle. 34-20 the scoreline, the exact reverse of the World Cup final in Brisbane 2008 when the Kiwis did beat the Aussies. This time the boot is on the other foot.
I'm coming!
But in the last minute of the game, maybe an opportunity for more points for New Zealand. Hahaya, just Benji Marshall. Marshall's pass, comes down into the arms of Sika Manu, but he couldn't do anything with it. And Marshall again with some mesmerising footwork and a bit of frustration in back play there.
Brilliant.
Well, we all need heroes, and Benji Marshall's certainly one in this country. He'll have inspired so many youngsters to take up rugby league here and try to emulate the skills he's displayed.
But not enough magic from Benji Marshall in the end. It's Australia with a dominant performance for the most part who've won this one, which of course a lot of people said was a dead rubber, an inconsequential game, but it's a significant victory for this Australian side. They've beaten New Zealand on home soil, the second victory for Australia over the Kiwis this year, and this one a much more emphatic one. They've won by 34 points to 20. Another outstanding performance from them from second rower Sam Thaiday, and he's waiting to talk to Brian.
Yeah, I'm down here with one of the Australian heroes. Sammy, you started that game on fire. What was the talk during the week?
Oh, we just knew that if we prepared well during the week, we're going to be in with a good chance tonight. The Kiwi boys are fired up there at the start, and we scored a few tries there at the start, so that really helped us along there.
Sammy, they were calling this a dead rubber during the week. Well, you guys obviously weren't treating it that way.
No, there's a lot of boys out there that are playing for spots at the moment. It's such a hard team to get into the 17. We've got a squad of 24, so there's a few boys that really put their hand up and will be pushing for a position next week in the final.
Like you say, a lot of competition for places. What about yourself, Sammy? Are you happy with your game?
Oh, yes and no. It's always hard to tell. You're always your harshest critic, so I'll sit down and think about it now, but I think I've done enough to cement my spot for next week.
And you're looking forward to the week in Brisbane?
Yeah, looking forward to get home. You know, we've been away for 3 weeks now, and it's always good to get back to Brisbane.
Sammy, thanks very much for your time, mate.
Thank you very much. I'll catch you up.
Okay, we got another special player in here. It's the Melbourne Storm and Australia halfback Cooper Cronk. Cooper, how'd you feel after that?
Yeah, it was a good game, good atmosphere, and it's pretty difficult when you're sort of playing, it's not a test match, but it's not a dead rubber, but knowing that the finals next week, so you're going to practice good habits to win the game next week, and I thought we did that for the majority of the game, yeah.
we spoke to Sam, and you guys weren't treating this as a dead rubber, and you fired into them at the start.
Yeah, 100%. You know, look at the atmosphere at this place, and to be one of the first official games at this venue is you know, something to cherish. And you know, I knew it was on when the national anthems were playing, mate. You know, they booed ours and they sung theirs with a little bit of noise. So yeah, it was a good game, mate.
And you managed to get over the try line and get your team off to the greatest possible start.
Yeah, we had to do that. We had to silence this crowd a little bit. So you know, we played really good up-tempo footy early on and capitalised on field position, and you know, a little scratch in the second half, but overall pretty good performance.
Cooper, thank you very much for your time, and we wish you the very best of luck for next week.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, much appreciated.
Well, here we are with a guy who has a very special night. How does it feel making your debut and getting a win and getting some tries?
Yeah, it's pretty special. I mean, unbelievable atmosphere, and to get a win and a try, it's just even more special.
Now, you've played some big games. How were the nerves before this one?
Yeah, pretty nervous, and I got pretty nervous when I ran in here for the warm-up and saw the crowd, but once I got my first touch, I was all right.
Many people talk about how proud you feel standing for the national anthem. What thoughts were going through your head?
Oh, I was just more thinking about the game. You know, I was very proud, you know, when the national anthem came on, and just, you know, proud to be wearing the Australian jersey. It's always been my dream.
Now, there's a lot of competition for places. Do you think you might have done enough to squeeze yourself into Tim Sheen's plans for next week?
Oh, I'm not quite sure, you know. I'll probably obviously go during the week, but I'm sure whoever sort of gets picked will do the job and do it proud.
Well, Chris, listen, thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on a very special night in your career.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, Brian. Thanks.
Well, here we go. One of the wrecking balls from New Zealand. Right, very, very difficult game for you guys tonight.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's really disappointing, you know. We set ourselves sort of standard, you know, we didn't reach that tonight, and, you know, I'm sure the boys are disappointed, and, you know, we've got to take a few things away and work until next week.
Now, Greg, Stephen Kearney named as strong a team as he felt he possibly could. You guys weren't treating this like any sort of a, you know, a no contest. You've got to take this serious from the very start.
Yeah, definitely, you know, it's a test match, you know, and you're playing for your country and your family, so, you know, we can't take any game lightly, you know, and, you know, it was sort of disappointing to finish the way we did, but, you know, at the same time, you know, we still got next week to improve and get better.
You certainly do, Greg, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Cool, thanks for that. What's up?
Well, here we go. Benji, how you doing, mate? Good to see you.
See you, man.
Listen, what's your thoughts after that?
Yeah, look, we went ourselves tonight. We didn't play to our game plan, and we paid for it. Dropped too much ball, and our last option finishes were too poor.
That's 18-2 down, Benji. It was very difficult to come back from that.
It was, and you know, we put ourselves under that pressure and tried a bit too hard and got a bit too caught up in the atmosphere, I think. So, you know, we'll learn for next week.
Now, what a great crowd. You must have something to say about the people of Auckland that turned out in numbers for a rugby league game here.
Unbelievable. You know, that's probably the best atmosphere I've ran out in front of, and you could really feel it, the crowd behind us. And you know, it's just disappointing we put in a poor performance, but yeah, we'll learn from it.
Benji, you sparked your boys in the second half. Do you think the defeat tonight will have any significance for next week's final, or will it just make you guys more determined?
I think if anything, it's a learning curve for us. You know, sticking to the game plan, and we're a bit too impatient tonight, and like I said, got a bit too caught up in the crowd and the emotion, and really let it slip. But yeah, we'll be better next week.
Benji, thank you very much for your time, and good luck next week in Brisbane.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers. Good to see you, man.
Benji Marshall, a couple of magical flashes of skill and inspiration from him.